Welcome back to the After Hours Game League of StarCraft 2 HotS Warm. This is season number 5, round robin week number 7, IBM versus Microsoft, game number 5. Through 4 games, Microsoft and IBM are in a deadlock, 2 games to 2. Microsoft took the really early lead, 2 games to none, but IBM has stormed back and taken the next 2, so it's tied 2 games to 2. Now we face a rematch on Vaani Research Station. Countdown. Microsoft versus IBM, week number 7 of the round robin. This match is going to go the distance, fellas. Microsoft took the first 2 games, but IBM has come back and taken the last 2. So game number 5 sets up a rematch of game number 4, VDeez versus KoalaCuber. Zerg. 2-2 and spawning in a lower position on this 2-player map. KoalaCuber from Team Microsoft, the orange Zerg. And spawning in the upper position, VDeezNuts from Team IBM, the blue Terran.
Go team. So Vaani Research Station is of course that map where the second and third bases are equidistant from the main, so you can take them in either order.
If you're Zerg.
That's true. I guess a Protoss would probably never take the outside base as their natural.
I'll hold it with a single cannon.
Yeah, as a Zerg player, I actually like to take the outside base because it gets the creep spread started earlier. And then you got that pocket third, which a lot of times, especially against a Terran player, they're going to do that Hellion Reaper push to try and cancel the third. And if the third is that much harder to get to, it can be more effective.
So this is the last day in Season 1 of 2015, which means that the maps will usually be changing. And more than likely, AHGL will follow the trend, and the playoffs will be featuring all these new maps that we have in store for Season 2.
Yeah, they've actually already integrated the maps into Ladder, if you've been playing.
Ladder? What's that?
I think it's where you do competitive matches online.
Competitive? Ugh, sounds too much for me.
Should switch to League of Legends or something.
I personally just watch Twitch streams.
I just play Candy Crush.
What's your APM?
On Candy Crush?
Yeah.
About 5. You have to take very good care of your choices of where you put the candies.
So we've got 14-14 coming out of the Zerg player here instead of hatch first, which especially on this map, that's pretty unusual. So we'll see how many lings he chooses to build. He does pull out of gas, so he's not going for like a one-base ling baneling attack or anything. But we'll see how many lings he wants to build. If he's trying to do pressure here, if he's hoping to cancel a low-ground command center.
Or just deal with the Reaper.
I felt like he handled the Reaper pretty good last time. Did he? I don't know if he took any damage from it. Yeah, the Reaper, if it hops up, these lings will be waiting for him. And the Zerg is taking a hatch behind this in the pocket inside base.
Just scouting around there with that Reaper.
Well, this Reaper actually might get trapped because the Queen was not in position.
Pretty standard FE Reaper harass opening though.
Yeah, it looks like VDeezNuts had the opportunity as he was running that Reaper by. He actually was able to click the extractor. So, guess it doesn't matter. He didn't see any drones mining. Sorry.
Doesn't look like we're going to have any metagame switch. Sometimes when players play against each other, they kind of try to switch things up since they know what their opponent's doing. But looks like we have the same exact openers as last time.
Last time it was hatch first for the Zerg player, and then he went into that 2-base attack, and this time it was Pool, the 14-14 with a much later hatch. So
And he loses his Reaper at the same time, way too, at the watchtower.
Yeah, that's really good for the Zerg, because that was the only presence on the map that the Terran player has until that Hellions gets
We do have a change here. It's going to be starport, so we could see some Widow Mine drops from DeeZ. Not going for the third command center.
Yeah, it's starport before third, so that's a good point. I guess both players are changing up a little bit, and there's that early Roach Warren again. So we'll see if he takes the 2 gas in the Baneling Nest and tries to do that same attack. If that starport is used for a Banshee, that's another thing that kind of shuts down that 2 base aggression. Roachwarren is finished, and there were no gases added on, and it is a 3rd base this time, so that must just be a defensive Roachwarren in case there's any sort of Hellion all-in. And there is going to be a Banshee as well. So somewhat similar, but actually quite different builds out of the players this time, or at least the way the builds will interact with each other will be very different.
5 roaches should pop and hold the ramp. KoalaCuber, we're going to want to position his units properly so that the Hellions cannot poke up.
That's really nice timing on those roaches. They finished basically right as the Hellions were showing up.
Some Zerglings. Zerglings just getting fried alive there.
And the Banshee is revealed with this one Overlord. So he sees that there's a Banshee.
Yeah, it's unfortunate when that happens sometimes. And I feel like this was a really kind of extremely rare case of that because he only has one Overlord over there. But I guess it's positioned in a good spot on that crescent mantle.
Yeah, and it actually kind of works out because the early sighting of the Banshee forces the 2 Spore Crawlers because you never know if the Banshee's going to have Cloak. And in this case, VDeezNuts is not researching Cloak. So if he micros around the Spore, which, oh, never mind.
One Banshee going down here.
Yeah, if you can micro around the Spore and still pick off drones, then the Zerg player has invested money into the Spore, but the Terran hasn't invested money into Cloak. So it can still work out. But that Banshee got trapped. Hellions are poking at the 3rd here, but those 5 roaches will be able to secure that.
BD is keeping up a great economy right now. Looks like he's getting more Hellions.
Yeah, both players are just building lots and lots of workers now. So you see, last time the Microsoft player had a very aggressive build, and this time he switched it up, and it's a very macro-oriented build. Getting his creep spread going early 3rd and just building lots and lots of drones. And he's getting Overlord speed too. I'd love to see that. So I'll be able to get in there and scout what he's up against. 2 more factories coming down and double armory. So it looks like VDeezNuts is going to be playing mech.
This is a lot of factories. Sometimes this is what happens in repeat games against the same player. You try to switch things up.
Yeah, both players switching.
May or may not work in your favor.
So as far as army composition from the Zerg, it looks like it's going to be the same thing because we see the Spire coming down, the Baneling Nest coming down, and then the Evo Chambers are getting +1 melee. So that implies, again, he's going for that same Ling, Banelings, Mutalisk composition. And that composition actually does really, really badly against mech. For mech, you want more of the Roach Hydra-based army.
And unfortunately, Koala not able to scout the 3rd with that one Overlord. So he still doesn't know if there's a 3rd for sure. Playing a little bit in the dark, doesn't have the Overlords, and he doesn't have the Watchtower.
Yeah, I wonder why he has no Overlords out on the map. You can notice that...
One Viking shot down one.
Yeah, there's that Pult Viking that Terran players at this level like to build. Or at these higher level.
6 mutas. No turrets at the moment, right?
No turrets, but he's getting Thors because he's playing mech, so his first 2 Thors are about to pop. And oh, he actually is building turrets. Did
Yeah,
he?
they are. All at his. Are they all at his 3rd or 2nd? Or yeah.
That must be based solely on timing.
He must have an idea, or he just anticipated it when he went all mech. Now he knows for sure.
Yeah, now he sees them.
But I mean, he can just recall this right into those Thors, and you know.
Recall?
Yeah.
You mean you lure?
How toss can cheat like that? Yeah, so the 2 Thors. Oh, the Widow
The
Mine.
shot. Boom.
Ooh. And the annoying
Nice
thing
little
with
pickup right there. Got
for
it.
Mutalists, dealing
Yes.
with these Widow Mines. Ugh.
So the Zerg player at this point should realize that it's a mech. He sees 2 Thors, 2 more Banshees, a lot of Hellions. So, I mean, that's more than one factory he's going to produce. So I'll be curious to see if he switches it up here. And in fact, he doesn't. He starts
Melee
his T2
again.
at the Evo chambers,
Yeah.
yeah, and he's getting melee again. No Roaches, no Hydralisk gun.
It's Widow
More
Mine right here,
factories going
revealing
down.
everything. Pre-igniter. That's gonna come in handy.
And the 4th command center.
You don't see the
solid.
Blue Flame Hellions as much anymore. It's becoming a pretty scary army composition for our Terran hero, and Mutalist Ball is going to want some tier 3 units soon.
And he's getting an infestation pit, so that I don't imagine he's getting infestors. They're just not very good against mech. So it's maybe either for the new swarm host or just a tech to hive. I'm gonna try and go ultras or broodlords. He's gonna try and poke into the second base with the mutas here, but there's quite a few turrets that should buy enough time, and then one of these Thors will pop out of the base.
Yeah, he's coming in there with a very scary mech army. I don't think he's gonna be able to hold this. I mean, those are all Zerglings and Roaches, and
He's
he's
not
got
even
the
paying attention. Oh, he sees it now. Okay. Yeah, that's a really strong mech army. Those Hellbats, the Hellbat Thor combination is like the hard counter to Ling Muta. And we see
Banelings. There are some siege tanks in this mix.
those Lings just die instantly with the
And
Hellbats.
the Thors taking out the Mutalisks.
Yeah,
But
he's
if the
trying to
Thors
get
do
that-
fall, there won't be much left to defend.
There you go. The
Oh,
GG.
and a good game is called. So VDeezNuts wins it for IBM and gives the team IBM a 3-2 victory over Microsoft.
And some traction going into the playoffs.
Go team!